What's up everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about exit strategies. You move in, you're having success, you're hitting the person, but it seems like every time you try to make a clean getaway, you get tagged. This is what we're talking about today. So today's video is actually a requested one. I asked everybody the other day on one of my other topics, one of the other videos, to just start listing some things out below, things that you wanted me to talk about. And this was one that popped up. I really like it. I have not covered it before, and it's so important because you can be the best offensive fighter in terms of, oh, I can move in really well. Just as the subscriber was saying he can. He's like, I can move in really well, I can get my shots off, but then I'm not making a clean getaway. And that's such an important part of fight sports because it's hit, but not get hit back. And when you don't want to get hit back, one of the best things that you have to be able to develop in your skill set is how to make that exit after you attack. And it's not just as simple as, oh, I hit and then I just move back. That's beginner level stuff, but we got to go way beyond that. And that's what we're talking about right now. And just before that, a quick shout out to the sponsor of this episode, Marshall. These guys have so much stellar gear. This company is fantastic. I have a link in the description below. You can head over to their website, look at gloves, apparel, streetwear even. You're not limited with them in going, oh, I don't need any training gear, so I'm not gonna bother. They have a whole assortment of stuff. Head over there and browse their fantastic website. Now, we're talking about exit strategies. How do we get from striking zone to cleanly getting away safe? Well, yes, the very first thing that we can do to make sure we're not getting countered is to hit, draw our hands right back to our head, and a clean exit. Out very fast. I think a lot of times people struggle with getting countered because they go offense, hands back to the head, and then they go, okay, for a second now I feel safe. My hands are high. And then the footwork comes after. We want to remember, kind of like the way Manny Pacquiao throws, if you can envision that, it's in, and as soon as the last punch finishes, you're on your exit. And what you can actually do to make this even more efficient is use the last punch of your combination as a light punch to exit. So I could start from here, power, 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 exit. And now all of a sudden, if this guy is simply guarding up and waiting for you to finish your attack is going to be finishing as you create that space. Then when they throw, there's nothing to hit. This is a very safe way to finish your backwards motion and your exit strategy without getting hung up on that, oh, I'm staying here a little bit too long and constantly getting countered. So just work sometimes, pushing backwards and punching, and then you just add that into your combo. And it could be with any punch, really. It could be power, 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 uppercut with a little step out. It doesn't have to always be a jab, although the jab does make the most sense because it's just a punch that's going to be pretty much the least powerful of all 6 options: uppercuts, hooks, and straight punches on each arm. So keeping long range as you move backwards is probably the best. The next thing which you can do from the inside is cut off on angles. Remember, we don't have to move forwards and backwards. We're not completely linear. When we're fighting, we want to be able to take little steps to the side or cut angles off to the side. And you can do that with or without a slip. So if I step in, boom, 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 and I want to move out to the side, I can just go under or a direct step. But as we were talking about before with the exit strategy, straight backwards, we don't want to wait a long time. We don't want to step in and go 1, 2, 3, pause, and now go. We want it to be immediate. 1, 2, 3, and I just exit. I just make sure that my hand, whichever direction I'm moving, stays up. So I'm staying defensive. So we have the option to move backwards. We have the option to cut off to the side with or without a slip. What else can we do? Well, a lot of people think that once I finish my shots, I have to worry about getting away. But what if we continue to move forward with a high guard. This is going to impede our opponent's ability to throw counters, because if you keep walking towards them, but you start moving them back, they're gonna have a lot of trouble getting shots off. So I could come 1, 2, 3, just using the jab, cross, jab every time, just as basically a consistent frame of reference in a set combo. It doesn't need to be jab, cross, jab. So I move in 1, 2, 3, I pull my hands back to my head, and then I just push right in. Now from there, my exit strategy could be many things after, but I've disrupted him, and sometimes shoving this person backwards or applying pressure is gonna be the thing that makes them create the space for you. So you don't have to always think, I have to create the space, perhaps they'll do it. 1, 2, 3, in, and just a little bit of a shove backwards. I could also extend my arms into a real push after making contact. 1, 2, 3, and then just push out with 1 or 2 arms, but I would only go 1 because I feel that's the safer option in keeping myself really guarded up and still having 1 arm to block uppercuts. Now, because many of you guys on the channel are looking at MMA, Muay Thai, kickboxing, or even boxing, right? It could be done in boxing. I don't always have to think that I have to exit. What if I throw my punches and I just wrap this guy up? If I'm doing Muay Thai or kickboxing or MMA, I can utilize that. If it's just boxing, I'm just holding and waiting for the ref to give me the clean break. Or if there's no ref because I'm just doing this in sparring, we just kind of acknowledge, okay, we're gonna let go. And that happens all the time. So I step in, 1, 2, 3, I wrap up and I just hold them. And then we break clean eventually. That is a very good way to not necessarily exit, but to throw your attack and get away clean without getting countered. That's basically all this is. We want to hit and not get hit back, right? I already said that. So we're making sure that we do something to make life very difficult for this guy so he can't just go block, block, hit back. It could be moving away, it could be moving to the sides, it could be pushing in and jamming them back, or it could be wrapping them up so they can't get punches off. The final post-offense concept that I want to talk about today in not getting countered is to make sure that we get our head out of that general attack range. So normally if I step in and I come here and I keep my head straight up, I'm in that prime spot where they're going to counter. But what if after I hit 1, 2, 3, I just move my head? I move my head somewhere. Now they're gonna start chasing for that target, most likely. And then from there, when I exit, my head has moved. It doesn't need to be to either particular side. 1, 2, 3, I go here. Maybe as I exit, I roll. 1, 2, 3. I move my head to the side. Maybe as I exit, I cut an angle and I lift my head back up. There's so many things that we can do from this position, but it's just remembering if my head stays stationary post-attack, and then I worry about cutting angles or moving forwards or backwards, my head is still right above my hips. Adding a little bit of head movement and then adjusting my head back above my hips as I move my feet. This is something which is going to make it very difficult for somebody, even if they do counter, to actually find your head. It's a moving target, so much more difficult. So I hope this helps. In particular, the guy who requested this video, but for everybody else out there who is watching, I hope you go, okay, these little strategies are gonna help me get my shots off and then get my exit without getting hit. And when you can do that, you're gonna feel like your skill level is just skyrocketing because again, third time I've said it in this episode, it's hit and not get hit back. When you can do that, your skill is just gonna feel next level. So if you enjoyed today's episode, guys, please give it a like. If you have not already, join the channel, get subscribed. As always, train hard. I will see you back here soon for another video.